Hello, House of Mercy Views here, and I'm back for after a bit of time away. On a little holiday, I should say. We're here to review another movie, and this is a movie I was kind of debating whether I was going to see, as I wasn't so sure if I would have the time to get this done, and if I because I was hoping to see other things, and plus came back from holiday, I was like, I probably wouldn't, but thing is, I ended up seeing one movie while I was away, and that I was meant to see, which is Joker for Lady U, which it obviously isn't today's review. And so when I got back, I had the time to go see this, which of course is Transformers 1. And I should mention, it's not like I was trying to avoid seeing this, because I saw the previews and it looked pretty good. And, when it comes to the other, I'm not a big Transformers fan. I mean, I've dabbled a bit into it here and there, but I don't know much about the lore outside of some basic knowledge that that friends have told me. And when it comes, I've never seen any of the shows. I have seen the movies. I mean, I forget the last time I watched the original animated '80s movie, the Transformers the movie. But I remember liking it, even though it is pretty much close to being one of the most one of the biggest one the I think the biggest death count in an animated movie. I think close to it. Uh, not counting Wash It Down. I think, but well, it's not gory, but there's a lot of deaths in it. And as for the live action films, I haven't watched them all, and well, I know it's probably for the best, but with that said, I haven't watched every one of them. I still yet to see Bumblebee though, which I am hearing is which I do know everyone considers the best of the live action movies, mainly due to the fact Michael Bay was never really involved with that, and it was directed by Travis Knight, who was who in as animation fans will know is the director of Kubo and the Two Strings, and will be releasing Wildwood next year. He's president of Leica and the son of Nike founder Phil Knight. About to say Travis Knight twice. Anyway, but yeah, we're on to the first CGI fully anime movie, directed by Josh Cooley, who people know as the director of Toy Story 4. Um, and well, people are saying this is the best Transformers movie in years. It's hard not to say that everyone is right. Whether I say it is because I'm sort of a casual watcher of Transformers is hard to say, but look, it's way better than every one of Michael Bay's films. Whether or not I consider it to be above the original '80s movie, that's where I don't think so. But we'll get to it. So this film is actually an origin story of the Transformers, based on how they gain uh, the ability to transform and how Optimus Prime grew into who we know him as, how Megatron became evil and corrupt, and the fact that both him and Optimus were once best friends before they were given the ability to transform, and Optimus gained power of the Matrix. And it's actually kind of interesting to see that. I've heard a little bit of the backstory in different continuities because there are various origin stories, but this is what many people say is this is one of the most well known ones, I think. Uh, I and I was interested to see just the relationship between Optimus and Megatron was before Megatron before were before they became divided, and people were saying this is on par with the Moses Ramses dynamic in Prince of Egypt, and yeah, I can definitely see it, and it does help compared to Prince of Egypt. They are always together for most of the film until Megatron is captured and tortured by the villain of this film. Um, which yeah, but I will say, and I can see where people are coming from. I still think Prince of Egypt is the better film when it comes to exploring this dynamic of one, two people who were once the closest of friends or family, who end up becoming divided later on by separate responsibilities or separate goals. And I mean, it's not just the fact that Prince of Egypt is based on is the story of Moses, but yeah, yeah, you get what I mean. Um, yeah, and in fact, I think that's the core of the film, the relationship between Optimus and Megatron, where they start off and where it ultimately leads to, and the tragic circumstances of it. And honestly, Megatron's descent into tyranny is actually my favorite thing in this film. It's just complete. You really do see when he finally learns the truth behind his origin and how they were they when they were born, when these robots when they were born, they had the ability to transform stripped away, and when he finally gains his the ability to transform, and after learning everything about his past, he just it breaks him because he was the closest follower of the system. He looked up to this guy, to the villain, and to find out that he's you know been used and abused, I should say, or taken advantage of. It really snaps him, and it is it's kind of it is unfortunate to see that because even though Optimus, or Orion Pax as he was known he became before he was given the Matrix, is a bit more of the cocky, wants hero who wants to do more than he's supposed to, which you see a lot in elephant anime movies, and Megatron sort of, or I forget Megatron's actual name, but yeah, he's the one who's trying to follow the system, but always has his friends back and everything. It's it's really handled pretty well, and I got to give credit to Megatron's actor Brian Tyree Henry. He did an amazing job in this as Megatron, and I buy every minute of it, of his performance. It's great. Um, but I will get into the rest of the voice cast later. Um, but yeah, I like the story. I like the animation. I think looks good. Although I don't know. I think the animation on the faces, I don't know. It looks a bit too bulky for me. But I guess that sort of makes sense. I'm not saying I want it to look the animation, the design of these robots to look exactly like how they look in the live action movies, but I don't know, you know, it just looks a little too blocky to me, the faces. And I guess you could say that's sort of how it should be, but I don't know. It's just not for me. And back, their home world looks great. I love seeing them actually, you know, transform and everything, and seeing traveling and all that. It's pretty good. Um, as I say, I like the relationship, and this is a really good origin story, I think, and you could definitely say this leads into the live action movies. I mean, Michael Bay did still produce this. I'm not sure how much involved he was, but you can definitely tell it can lead into what we know in the future in the live action series, and the comedy is not too bad. And there's no real stereotypes, which I think is a good thing for movie go for watch for people who watch the films, and especially when you think about all the stereotypes and an awful comedy that plagues many of Bay's the sequels to the films Bay directed, and with maybe one exception, I'll touch on it. And you it's handled pretty well, I think, and you can just sort of jump in and sort of get an idea of what's actually going on with everything. It's handled pretty well, is what I'm trying to say. Um, but I wouldn't say this film is perfect. It's a good film, but there are some issues. Like first off, when I um I already mentioned the facial designs for me, but that's more of a nitpick. I do think the opening is very slow, and you kind of really want it to start picking up the pace, especially, um, you know, prior to Optimus and Megatron getting spotted by the villain in the big race that's supposed to, that, celebrates the origin of their home world or something like that. Yeah. And yeah, I guess I forgot to mention there is no human characters in this, which is also a bonus. But the big issue I have with this work, there's two. First off, Bumblebee. He is probably the most annoying character in this. Like, I don't know, like I forget how at times what he was like in many of the Bay films, but I don't know. Keegan Michael Key, I like him, but can people just stop you always casting him in anime movies? Like, you don't always need him, and you can get someone else. And his comedy probably he gets really annoying at times. I'm just like, yeah, come on, seriously, and let's just get on with it. The actors, the voice cast. I mean, okay, celebrities voicing these characters, you're going to expect, but I don't think this cast really adds anything new to them. I mean, and you can pretty much tell who's been cast for which role. Like Lawrence Fishburne is going to play the this ancient robot warrior who was deceived by the villain and gives Optimus, Megatron, and the rest and everyone else their ability to transform. Steve Buscemi is this outcast, is another on the outcast who forms a private army who wants to take the villain down secretly. You know, and is still very comedic with certain things. Scarlett Johansson is the tough female robot who doesn't who gets really annoyed with Optimus and is he and Megatron's former boss. Um, yeah, and okay, I will say this about Chris Hemsworth. He does an okay job, and honestly, if you are to recast Peter Cullen, I think he was probably the right person to choose. And there is a lot of he does a solid job, and yeah, I do buy where they're sort of going with this that he will eventually morph into um more of the voice we know of Optimus Prime as if they are to make sequels for this, and grows as a leader. So I do see where they're coming from. He does it. Chris Hemsworth does a good job. Um, but let's just get on to this other fact. Why didn't they bring Peter Cullen back to voice any character in this? Like, look, give credit to the Super Mario Bros. Movie that even though they recast uh, Charles Martinet of Chris Pratt, Nintendo and Illumination still put Martinet in the film. Another, even though I hate to give credit to this film, Scoob. Yes, Frank Welker didn't return to play Fred, but he at least still voiced Scooby. I guess that's also a bit of a more of a content Garfield. Yeah, but with this, Cullen's not. Cullen doesn't is not in this movie yet, and that's a major problem with me. I really think they should have at least brought him back to voice a little to even do a slight cameo in this, and maybe they are going to bring him back in future films as Optimus gets older, but but or I don't know, unless in a future film he's going to play a different character. Like I wouldn't mind seeing him as Unicron, but which I think would be cool. But I just wish he could have at least had voiced one character in this. Like he's been the voice of Optimus for nearly 50 years, I would think. I would say. I mean, 40, 50. I don't know. I haven't kept track, but if Michael Bay at least this, at the very least brought him back to voice Optimus in his movies, and he still continues to voice him in live action films. Surely Josh Cooley in Paramount Animation or whoever, or Skydance Animation or whoever animated this should have brought him at least in to voice someone. Yeah, I know I just went on a bit of a mini rant, but I just thought I should say it. But I do say Transformers 1 is a good film. I can definitely see why people are saying that this is the best Transformers movie in years. I want to call it, but as I said, I don't call it perfect. And, I can see a good film coming out of this, a good sequel to this. Just, they need to maybe work on a few things, especially when it comes to their cast choices. I think, though, outside of King Michael Key, I think every other actor, you know, for this for these anime movies, if they were to come back for a sequel, would do well and improve. I do, and I should, as I said, I think Chris Hemsworth did do a good job, and I did like Scarlett Johansson as the female Transformer. I forget her name, but yeah, I'm just saying. I have nothing against them, though I do have problems with Keegan Michael Key. But yeah, I think it's a good film. Mm, Though I will say this, if you're gonna watch any CGI anime movie, well, computer anime, or any anime movie that stars a robot at the moment, just go see The Wild Robots. It's much better and definitely more, and it is a masterpiece and all that. So I say that's the best option out there. But if you have time to see a second one, then go see Transformers. That's the way I view it. But although, and I still think it was I don't regret going to see it. I should mention that I do like this. It's a 7.1 out of 10 has stars. I just don't think I'm enjoying it as much as everyone else is, and it's mainly due to a bit of the casting choices and some minor nitpicks. And yeah, but I will say at least I came out feeling satisfied and solid of my opinion of this, which I still am working on with the. No, no, I'm not going to talk about it now. I'll wait for the next time. You already know what the other movie I'm gonna talk about and what the reception is for it at the moment. And I am still kind of working on my own opinion of it. So, but hopefully in only maybe a couple of days, yeah, definitely a couple of days, I should have a solid opinion for it in and uh, well, give it a ranking. Yeah. But in the meantime, House of Masterpieces is out, and I shall see you next time. Ciao!